Hello everybody, welcome to another quick builds video. Today we are going to be building this fully functional arcade machine here, which you'll see also can satisfy the play task. As most of you know, there are only two tasks you can do in your house in adoptme, two of the orange tasks, and that is the hospital task if you have a golden apple, or the play task, and usually only if you have a piano. And most people know that the pianos they have are pretty limited. Let's look at them. You've got a grand piano pretty much, and a Neanderthal piano, and so those are your only choices. And so if you're doing a beach like house or any kind of outdoor thing, piano really doesn't fit the decor and won't in a lot of indoor homes too. But thanks to the scale tool, you can shrink that piano down and really put it into anything you want. So here is a really good idea of one that's fun to do, fun to put in your house if it matches your decor, and that's to make an arcade cabinet. And you'll see it says play piano, but when you do, it makes it look like you're playing piano. And as you'll see later, it'll satisfy the play task, which is pretty darn cool. So anyway, you want to see how to build one? Let's do it. I'm here at a bunker house, which I just chose. I don't know, I was exploring it, but we'll just build another one right here, just like that one. So I've already got kind of floodlight up here. Like I've said, it's always good to have light when you have to build in the dark sometimes. As usual, I'll post a list of the materials you need and kind of the price of the cost. It's again super cheap, and if you want to decorate it later to be kind of specific to a game you want, you can do that. I'll show you a little bit, but let's get going. So we want to start off with a block. And the standard $5 block here is a good size. You'll see it's about the size of your avatar usually, and fits pretty good right there against the wall. Don't need to rescale it. Then we'll want to go to the hidden 22 and go to the oddly specific 22.5 degree wedge, the small one, and just kind of put that right here. This is the direction we want, where the shorter side is on the bottom, the longer side is on the back, and the angled side is on the front. This will be kind of our screen. So now we've got to kind of advance move it up there, or else it'll start flipping it around if you don't. Once you kind of get it up there and you see it's kind of centered, if you're in a large thing, that's fine. Switch your default dragger and we'll just scale it down. About 2 clicks, I think, will do it in a large grid size. But you'll need to probably switch to medium to get it centered on here. So, like I said, it was 2 clicks in the large to get scaled, but then if it's right into place pretty much, it's on here on the edge. We're going to need to move it back a little bit, but don't worry about its placement now, because wherever it goes, it's going to have a gap here in the back that we need to worry about. And so we'll want to fill that in with a half floor panel. Come right here to half floor panel. It's $8. That's what we're going to use to fill in the back area over here. So we'll get this into place. We'll rotate it and scale it down. If you're in medium, you can probably get it pretty easily to the scale it needs to be. I think that might be a little too small. Let's give it up a 1. And look, it's looking pretty good. We're going to have to slide it down in the place we want it to go about as high as there and fit right in with that. Let's see, eyeballing it. It looks looks a little justifiable part to switch to a small to get the exact placement. So exactly lined up here. It's looking pretty good. Now we take this and move it back to where it's flush with that. Let's see if we got it. And actually, it needs to come down a notch or two. I think maybe not. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, the top, so it's not going to matter too much. You'll see in a couple minutes. And this might actually need to go over back up. There we go. Alright, so now we have kind of this basic shape. Now we want to do some rectangular beam action. So, rectangular beam is going to kind of be our front and top, and we'll get it just kind of into place. It's not, and scale it down. You're going to want it to be about the width of the machine. We're on small right now. We could actually want to go to maybe a medium, because when we want to rotate it, and then move it into place. So default, we want to do advanced move. You can see now it's probably just a notch or two wide. I don't know, maybe. So we'll want to bring this out. So we'll put it in line with the surface here and just sticking out a little bit to extend. We'll probably switch to the small just to get that into line, and it might still be a little too wide. Nah, yeah. Alright, so now we have plenty of area here to play with to put our controls. And we'll also want to, now that we have this in place, clone it and move it up. Move one up here and create the top area. And you want to put that, you can always, try to put it in line with the back half floor piece, or did I lose? Nope. Got it. No. Let's see. Sometimes you go angle just to get how you want it. You know what? If you can't though, a good tip is just start doing the undo button until it get back to where you want it to be, and then you can start again. Oh, I'm just having nothing but pain with this one, aren't I? Alright. Now that one's pretty much into place. So we'll clone it again so we can make one stick out a little bit further. And if you want, you'll see the difference here. I actually made this too as big. You don't have to. If you want to try to later put kind of a sign here, you may want to make that doubly as big, and you can do that pretty easy just by cloning this. Let me switch to medium grid, and double the space down, clone it again, and move it back, and so you can make it extra big like that. So that way, more like that. But it really doesn't matter. It all depends on if you want to try to decorate this later, because it'll have more space. So anyway, now you're pretty much have the main frame done, and if you want to color it, it's probably best to do the color now, and because everything we're going to add later might be a different color. So we can just select this whole thing and go. And before I'm going to make it another Pac-Man one, so we'll do why does it say that? Okay, I must have something else selected that didn't want to let me color it. So anyway, select this whole thing, go to color. Now if you plan on making multiple ones and you want to have different colors, the best time to clone it now would be now. So you can go clone this and move it over here, and if you intend this to be like Mortal Kombat or something, you could color this one black and then work on it later. So it's a good time to clone if you're going to make multiple ones or whatever. But so here we are. We got our yellow box now. Now it's time to start adding some details. The first one we'll want to add maybe is the screen. So we can do that really easy with a simple TV. I think they call it the cheap TV. It is cheap. It is $10. And we'll put that up under here. It's turned the wrong way, so we have to rotate it. And now get into advanced move. Medium scale should be pretty good. Slide it down a little bit, center it, move it back, and then we want to turn it so it matches the rotation, or this 22 and a half-degree angle, which if you're in the medium, it shouldn't be that hard to match. Basically just give a tilt or two. You may have to go small, because if you look at it from this angle, you can see this bottom here is a little more space than the top, so you might have to go small, but you can just about eyeball it into there. And so that's looking pretty good now. Once you have it in there, you want to just sink it down into here, and you can sometimes tell too when it starts to, if the top starts to disappear before the bottom, you know your angle's still a little off. You can come in here and tilt it just enough so that the entire thing is displayed. And so that way you know you're just the right angle, bring it out so all the screen is showing, and then boom, you got it. So there's your screen. We can turn this off for now so it doesn't kind of distract us while we're doing the rest of it. Maybe want to hide this action button too. So what we're going to do next is we're going to work on the controls down here. And we'll start off with just making a kind of control panel to offset on the yellow and just give it a little more realism. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let's go with the thin plate here. Get that down to about this. Stick it up on top. It should just sit right on there. Yep. So that's a pretty good. Let's color this kind of grayish. And then move it over here. Maybe give it a little scale more. There. Okay. Now clone this and move it to make a wide panel here. If it's not quite centered, you can always clone it again. That's an expensive piece. Let's not do that. Let's sell that. And just move this guy over. And then we'll move this one. And we'll have pretty much a center. You don't need... It doesn't matter. It's all just aesthetics here. So now let's make the joystick. We'll start with the cylindrical beam, which is super big right now, but we will make it toothpick size. And if you're looking at it from above, it's a lot easier to kind of get the placement. There you go. And color that maybe a darker, almost black, so that it stands out pretty good against the... And now we need a cylinder, or a sphere, for our joystick ball. A small sphere. Color that the same, kind of almost black, or whatever color you want, really, it doesn't matter. We'll try to put that right at the top. Look at it from a few angles. If it doesn't look right, nope, didn't quite get it, then we know. Still not quite, needs a little bit more. Alright, that's good enough for there. Alright, now let's add some buttons. So we'll do a disc for these. One disc here, super small, button size. That should work. Probably want to advance, move it into place. It gets hard to see at that size, but now you know that that's there. Then let's color this one red, and then clone it, and color this one green. This is a good green. If you get picky, you can go into advanced color picker. There, now you got joystick, 2 buttons, arcade cabinet. So now is the part where we're going to make it actually work as a functional thing to satisfy the play task. So as you know, you got to use a piano, but we'll take this piano since it's cheaper, and let's turn it around so it's oriented that way. Now we're going to shrink it down as far as it can go until it just won't shrink anymore. Right now it just looks like a little toy piano. And you can't put it all in the machine because it's got to have a chair. So we'll build a chair around it when we're done. But for the purposes of this, so start off with putting it kind of where you would expect to sit. About at that level, right below the lip here. And we'll test it out. So if you turned off actions earlier, we got to turn back on actions. So now we can say piano. And so look at it and say, okay, well, that looks pretty good. Like, you could scoot it up a little bit more if you wanted to, so that, but in order to do that, you have to hide the action buttons, because the thing is so small that the action button actually hides the piano. So we'll scoot it a little closer and turn back on the action buttons. And now there you go. I mean, that's, I'll see in a second, you don't want to get too close, because then you start to, like, your feet get into there. But now that you've done that, you can build a stool around it that will also cover the piano. So let's go into we'll take a disc, drag, switch back to the default dragger, drag that over here, scale it to where it looks about big enough to support your butt. It looks pretty good. A little smaller. Let's color it, some kind of grayish color, and slide that up just under you. Maybe center it a little bit. You actually want to leave a little bit of space between, because we're going to put a pad on there to make it look a little more comfortable later. But so once you have that, then go ahead and clone that. We'll see why in a second, and then move this all the way down until it just pokes out of the floor, and that'll be kind of the base. And then we'll take another cylindrical beam, and advance move that into place. If it isn't big enough, just scale it up a little bit. You don't want it too thick or it looks a little silly, but you want it to go from top to bottom. Oh, let's see, so probably need a bit more scale, and it helps when you're in the advanced mover to see if it's centered. If you jump off here, then you can actually see the green arrow. If you line that up so it's in the center of the oven, then you'll know it's kind of center down there. And we'll probably want to color that same color gray. And now the pad that I was talking about on top, you can just do a mound. They have these sand mounds that make really good kind of cushions. You can get it just on top of there, and then just scale. Ooh, it's actually on top of the arcade, but if you default dragger it, it should go right onto here, and then you can move this around to try to get it right on the center or the advanced mover. But once you've got that, then you've got your pad, you've got your piano. You can no longer see the piano, but you can sit here and play piano, and you'll jump right on it. Now, like I said, this is the classic Pac-Man game, and so if you want to add some decor, I'll show you how to make that ghost I had on the other one. So then we just take a disc, slap it on the side here, scale it down to a reasonable size, color it blue, nice bright blue. We'll advance move that into place and sink it in so that it's only, if you're using the small scale and you're bringing it out slowly, bring it out 1 or 2 notches, then you can barely tell that it's like not part of the game because it's only out at just a couple of pixels. So that's good. Now we'll go to the 45 degree. We want the 45 degree small wedge. There it was. And this is going to be our kind of ghost feet. And let's get this down to a reasonable size. Do the color blue. Put it under here. Now let's see what we have. Well, we need to tilt it so that it is pointing down. At least one of the sides is pointing down. And I think we have to do the advanced rotator for that. Let's switch back to a large so we make sure we get an easy 45 degree angle. And now sink that in as well. Oh, we'll want to change back to a small. Oh, I don't think we're actually oriented right. No, we aren't. So rotate. Did I go in the wrong axis? Okay, so now we have a point going down. We sink that in, yeah, and line it up so it looks like it is. Maybe you want to switch small here if you want to get it exactly right. There we go. Perfect. So that looks like kind of the bottom of the ghost, and now you can clone that once and move it over for another edge. Now we'll want to clone this again, bring it to the other side, and then switch back to a large grid, go to your advanced rotate, make sure we're all along our axis here, and flip it so that it points on the other side now. And then I have to go back to small placement of grid again. Then we got our edge there. Clone it one more time into here. Boom. Yeah, you can kind of see it sticks out a little bit on the edges here. You could play with that, but again, you're going to be the only one that notices that kind of thing. So now let's make some eyes. We're going to need a few discs here. Let's shrink this down, pretty small. That's good. Maybe a little bigger. Make it white. Shrink it, or let it come out just a little bit again. Clone and move to the other side. And now you want to clone this two more times. Well, first we're going to clone this. We're going to make the eyeballs now. It's going to be black. Shrink them down. When we shrink them down, they're going to go right in, but have to use the advanced mover to bring it back out a little bit, just so it's poking out there. Yep. Move to the side, because that's how the ghosts look when they're chasing Pac-Man. Clone that once to put it on the other side. And there you go. Inky, Blinky, I can't remember which ghost that is, but there it is. And now you have your Pac-Man game. Like I said, up here you can try to unfortunately, the sign tool is too big. You can't scale these sign texts, and so when you put it up there, it gets way too big when you type out Pac-Man. The boards can scale, but then they can't scale wide, so you wind up having, you can scale this down here like that and put it in the middle, and then you could even play with that color to match yellow. But then when you put Pac-Man in, it's not too bad. You can do this. You can then change, the back to be yellow to try to melt in. I guess even the front to be yellow. I don't know if that changes the text or not, but let's see. So it should be obvious if you're doing that. But if you're making ones that are not so obvious, then you can put some sign up there. But it's up to you, however detailed you want to get on it. But now you can turn the TV on, and there you have a fully functional game that you can play. And you're going to look different on there depending on your avatar size, of course, or playing as a baby. Pets are always going to look different, but the main point is that it will satisfy the pet task. Let's see here if I can wait for it to come around. All right. So we are back, and now we have a play task, and now all I need is my tiger, who is God knows where, because he's often abducted and taken care of by good people. But let's bring him back here, and now we'll show you how you can add, and like I said, your pets may look weird being on this, but depending on where they are, but the important thing is it satisfies the play task. And that is how you can do something in your house to satisfy the playtest that is other than playing piano if you are not musically inclined. Pretty cool, huh? So if you have any other questions, if you have any other ideas that you would like me to maybe try, or you want to share feedback of yours, leave a comment. And hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon.